Hello, it is 107.7 The Edge, and you are listening with Leah. And today we have Central alumni and comedian Taylor Doyle.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And Taylor Doyle has previously performed at the Elbow Room and the Spigot, and is our first comedian for our artist showcase.
Yep.
So how does it feel to be back on campus, but this time around being a performer at our artist showcase?
Oh, it's super exciting. Last year, I was really involved in the planning of the showcase, and I did some emceeing and stuff with Mari, and so it feels so full circle to be able to come back as a performer. I'm really excited about it and see a lot of people that I may not have seen in a while, or like that I see all the time, but they get to see me perform, and the support that I've gotten from people at Central, that even people that like aren't from Central, that are just kind of in the community that have meant to see me come out, that are going to come out, is really exciting.
Oh, that's perfect. And I know you're going to be going on air first, so
I know.
Do you have any plus ones or anyone you're going to have that you want to come out to support?
How do you mean?
Like in terms of like any friends and family or anyone that you want to invite?
Like on stage?
No, just like to come.
Oh my gosh, yeah. My partner's coming. I have friends coming. I have some former Central professors that said they may make an appearance. So it's going to be really cool.
That's good. And I kind of just wanted to ask a little bit in terms about how you like to have your performances. Were there any experience that you had on campus that maybe pushed you towards comedy as a creative outlet?
Oh, absolutely. So I was interested in doing comedy from a young age. I think all these experiences sort of came together and made my comedy career what it is. So I think a lot of it started with being interested in writing from a young age and performing, and then that sort of going into like a theater background, and then learning in high school about like spoken word poetry, and that people can write things and then also perform the things that they write, opposed to performing a play that somebody else wrote or something like that. And what happened on campus was funny enough, so I was talking to one of my best friends who isn't from Central, but I was talking about how I'd been writing jokes for a long time because I'd wanted to do comedy, but I hadn't quite found anything that was like a joke writing class, and I was really interested in that. And I was writing things that worked for me and that I thought were funny and that people in my sphere thought were funny, but I wanted to expand on it. But I hadn't quite found a space that, other people had that sort of shared interest and whatnot. And so I had that conversation, and then a couple days later, I was hanging out in the radio station, believe it or not, and somebody was talking about how there was a roast writing workshop happening. And it was not too far from campus, and it was that night. And so I literally got in my car and just drove there on a whim and figured, okay, well, why not? I'm sure even if I'm not someone that's interested in roasting, that I would still be interested in joke writing, and, there's something that I have to learn. And so I had written a couple roasts, and then I didn't realize that there was a sign-up sheet, and I thought the sign-up sheet was to share the roasts with the class. And but actually what it was for was to do the open mic night at the comedy club later that night. And by the time I had realized what it was, my name was already on the list, and so I figured, okay, well, I have two options. I can either take my name off of the list and cower and wait until I have the courage to put it back on, and I don't know when that's going to be.
So then what did you choose?
Or I chose what I did choose, the second option, was to be like, you know what? Why not? Let me just do it. If I hate it, I never have to do it again. I don't know any of these people. It doesn't matter. I was literally leaving for a study abroad the next day anyway.
And where did you study abroad to?
I went to Portugal and Spain for a week.
Nice.
But it was just like a why not send. And my friend who's actually being interviewed by WFCS later, Ron Mark, shout out to that interview with Hannah later. Yeah. We started comedy together, and he's somebody that I met at Central, and we've been able to build like a friendship around sort of our shared creative passion, comedy being one of them. And so
that's good.
All this to say, from people on campus being the ones that told me about this opportunity that got me started, someone else, Ron from campus being the one that came with me. And then, you know, having friends that I met at Central, once I started gigging, coming and seeing the performances and supporting me, and now having me at the showcase, I think Central's really played a big part in the comedy journey for me, which has been really
beautiful.
really cool.
And I did want to ask a little bit before we kind of transition off from your experience on campus. What made you want to join the music and, you know, artist scene and be a part at WFCS radio?
I think a lot of it was for me working at WFCS and working really closely with the event. And when I was on staff here, one of the things that I was really hopeful for was that the artist showcase would showcase more than music artists like it had in the past. I mean, there'd always been like different vendors and things like that, but I thought in terms of performance artists that there was more than musicians. Although the musicians that they had were excellent, and that there was always a really good variety in terms of that. So I'm excited to be there. I'm also excited that shout out to the CCSU Pep Squad that's going to be performing their routine. So another act that's not quite music either.
And the fashion show.
Oh, and the fashion show. Yes, absolutely, the fashion show. Thank you for reminding me. But I think it was just wanting to come back to the place that sort of helped me start it all, and then kind of expand on just adding more kinds of artists, and hopefully the showcase has more comedians and other kind of performers in the future.
That's very beautiful. Thank you for being that change. We love to see the first woman comedian.
Right.
Yes, we love.
Happy Women's History Month, right?
Yes, Women's History Month. Clap, clap, clap. Applause very much. Yes. But, you know, on the same note, what life experiences influenced you into comedy?
Oh my God, so much. Okay, so I think that it was my family, my mom got me into improv. I did improv and musical theater from 1st to 8th grade. And that, having improv and musical theater background at the same time is like immense harrowing trauma made me really funny.
And why is that?
It's a good little character development cocktail, I think.
Okay.
You know,
can you give us a little bit of the gist of the cocktail?
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, I think
we don't have to go too much, but, you know, do share whatever you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Just a lot of like fun childhood stuff that I pay a therapist too much to listen to, and I decided I wanted to make something out of it. I think, I don't know. I think there's sort of a joke, or I don't even want to say it's a joke, because I think it's just real that like people that make art in general, or people that especially that can make humor out of something, are usually people that have been through stuff.
Very much.
And that's usually how they cope with it.
Character development.
Or they come out of the other side, or they're still trying to. And I think that comedy has really given me a place to, I guess, kind of help me make sense of things and create something out of things that I've experienced.
That's crazy. That's very nice. Thank you. And like, has there ever been anything, you know, in your experience of comedy that has healed your inner child?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, a big part of that is when knowing that the things that I've written resonate with other people, and that other people find them funny. And then also moments where even if other people don't, that I do. I think it's really helped me find my voice in that way. I think, you know, and when I went to Central, I got a communication degree. So I think keeping that in mind with, okay, how do I communicate this experience in this way with this audience? And how do I explore that? And how do I take a topic that can commonly be joked about and maybe try to write about it in a way that people may not have heard of it or thought of it before?
Yeah. It's nice. And I think, you know, being such a role model, right, let's correct that. Yes, a role model for your inner child, and also for other women, just, you know, in general, just, you know, as we, you know, grow and as we age. And I think humor is such a spark that we all want to make sure that we can keep to ourselves and just have. How do you feel like you just kept that for yourself in terms of continuing to be your own role model, or just even for women out in general? I think it's hard. I mean, two of my really good friends, Jared and Aiden, who I actually met through the radio, one of the things that they told me, and it really stuck with me,
is that they talk about sort of humor as a form of rebellion, and joy as an act of rebellion when things are really difficult, that you're still rising above and you're still feeling these things. And I think, not to be too woke or anything, but I think we're going through a lot right now.
No, let's be woke. Yes.
And I think that there are spaces that humor can allow people to have commentary on it and try to make sense of it and make light of it and understand it. But I also think that there's another role that humor can play to maybe distract a little bit. Because I think sometimes people, like, you can get into such a fatigue from just like 47 new atrocities that happen on the news every single day, that I think if somebody wants to come and see someone else tell jokes for 10 or 15 minutes that have nothing to do, you know what I mean? Like, it can be a good palate cleanser. It can be a good way to kind of take care of yourself and still try to feel joy and balance that with everything.
And, you know, just kind of on that topic, like, have you heard from any of your, you know, listeners or even family and friends that kind of gave you that reassurance that, like, thank you for doing what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of it is, a lot of it just comes from showing up. I think a lot of family and friends have been really supportive of me, and they've really, one of my best friends actually, as I was writing the material that you'll hear tomorrow at the Artist Showcase, he had said something to the effect of, you know, when you write comedy, I see you're so joyful, and you have such joy in you. And he was like, I think this may be what a calling looks like. And so I think something, I don't know, the fact that what I do, and it makes me feel more like myself, and it makes me feel really connected with myself and my experiences, and the fact that other people get to connect with it too, and the fact that I think stand-up is such an art form that, I mean, and granted, there are people that absolutely kill it on social media, and they get tons of views, and there are definitely ways to do that, but for me, I think that it's so much better in person, and there's something really intimate about it, about being in the room and seeing somebody and experience, you know, it's something that we all get to experience together. So I think especially in times like we're in, that people coming in a room together for laughter, for joy, to be amused is something really, really beautiful and really strong and really, like, community building, I think.
I really do agree. And I feel like, you know, in just a society and just even on the East Coast in general, we're just so in such a big city, like, and I think we're just always so subconsciously so close yet so far. And I think having that experience that just brings us all together as just one, just for maybe a moment or two. It really is, you know, community building and just like heals ourselves. We're humans. Nature is, you know, just to, you know, want to be, you know, shared experiences with everyone.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I like about it is it gives a space for people to show up and be like, does anyone else feel this way?
Right.
Am I the only person that's thinking this right now? Because more often than not, you're not.
Yeah.
And I think everyone at some point has some sort of iteration of that thought of like, is it just me, or is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we're all going through, you know, different trials and tribulations. I think even for those that, you know, are too nervous or don't really know how to get that, you know, social help or just tap into anything, I think this is such a big help subconsciously to everyone, and you know, thank you for that.
Thank you. One thing I do want to share, and it's funny, I think the great, you're asking me great questions and they're bringing up memories, and so I want to kind of go back to one of your questions that I don't feel like I answered as well, about like experiences and things that made me who I was. And so in high school I was sort of still becoming the person that I am, and I was still kind of figuring out the idea that you can write material and then perform it. And so for me, that came out as a lot of spoken word poetry. And I was really, really heavy into that. And then while I was heavy into that, my grandfather that raised me passed away.
Oh, so sorry.
And I was the one that found him, and it was so traumatic for me. It was so difficult. And there was a teacher at school that I had really connected with, and he was my English teacher, and you know, we had, you know, was really just a big supporter of my writing, and I was out of school for a while after the passing. And when I had come back, he had seen me and he hugged me and he said, I'm so sorry, and I apologize now if this is insensitive, but this is going to make you such a better writer. I can't wait to see how this impacts your writing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just that, and it sounds almost insensitive at the time. I didn't take it as that, but I think some people could interpret it that way.
Right.
That for me, it's not so much that it's insensitive, but it's more of like knowing that it is usually that these big events or these things that you really have to work through mentally that are where you can find material, and it's you kind of have to work a little bit harder to find the joy, but I think when you do, it's almost the more rewarding.
Right, just building on the past and present and just like, our futures.
Yeah.
And, kind of on that topic, here at WFCS, we're all young students and young artists and constantly looking forward towards our futures.
Right.
So if you could make a vision board right now, what 3 things would you want to focus on?
Oh my gosh. One of them, you guessed it, comedy. If you're listening to this and you want to book me, like, do it. I dare you.
Very much.
I would love that. So definitely just more performances, more meeting people, more writing, more work, all of it. So I think comedy's one. I think another is like, I hate to tell you guys, like, sorry, because you guys are all in college now, but the job market is heinous, egregious, and harrowing, and it, like, gags me daily, and, like, I hate it. And so
that part.
Coming out on the other side of that would be awesome. It's, like, chewing me up right now. So I think coming out on the other side of that and just having more opportunity in that way. So I think comedy as a passion. I think overall career would be 1. And 2 or 3, counting. My degree at Central does not reflect my ability to count. That's like totally separate. 3, I think would be just travel slash I'm sorry, it's like 3.5. That travel or just things that I think can otherwise expand me as a person. I joke a lot about being like a side quester and that I'm just kind of doing whatever and I'm just appearing in places and having fun, and I'm like hosting trivia now and I'm doing the comedy and I'm working a couple other jobs and stuff. So I think just comedy, career, and just general personal growth and travel and expansion.
And now on that travel and expansion, are you thinking about doing that like in state, maybe, US, or are you trying to travel personally outside?
Truly, my wallet would like me to travel to more jobs at the moment.
No, but
if we're being so real, but I would go anywhere. Like, I'm the type of person, probably to a detriment, that I would go to most places at least once to be like, okay, I tried it.
What's on your bucket list?
Oh my God, everything. Okay, so in the United States, my partner and I are talking about doing specifically some sites in New Hampshire. We talked about Louisiana because he's got family there. I'd love to go out west. I love New England, but I really want to get out of New England because that's where I've always been. So specifically, I think out west, internationally, so many Asian countries, so many European countries, like South America, like Africa, wherever. Like book the flight. I will go. Like, I have my passport, like, if needed. So.
And I know we did mention earlier that you did perform at the Elbow Room in the Spigot. Are there any places in these locations that you're looking to travel to that you want to perform at or would hope to?
So something on my comedy bucket list for 2026 specifically is I want to do out of state. So I would love if you're listening. Like, I would love to do the Funny Bone. I would love to do any of the New York comedy clubs. I would love to go up to Mass. There's a pretty good scene going in southern Massachusetts. I'd love to make it up there. I know some people that gig regularly up there, and I know Ron's been up there, and it seems like a pretty good scene, so I'd love to be there. But no, I think overall I'm just open to where it takes me.
Yes, and I know, we're all here, family, friends, and just as like listeners, we're supporting you.
Thank you.
We wish you the best, and thank you for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Where can listeners find you?
First and foremost, you can find me tomorrow, March 26th, in the CSU Student Center Alumni Hall at 9 p.m. sharp. Be there or be square.
Very much. Doors open 8:30.
And then after that, you can find me. I'm performing on the 29th for the New Haven Oratorio Choirs Cabaret. That's going to be in Hamden, Connecticut at Whitneyville Commons. I'll be there at 4 p.m. And then...
How much is entry for that?
Oh, Oh, anyway, we can't say that on air.
Sorry about that. Yep. Scratch that. Okay. But just be there. Just be there and be square.
There and find the information on social media, which is Taylor.m.Doyle. That's me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yes. This is so cool.
And thank you for listening to 107.7 The Edge.